Man of Steel sucks, period. And that's what you critics have been saying. Before I start this review, I have to call out on two parties. One, the critics. I'm just gonna make this perfectly clear. You are wrong. Second, the fanboys who have seen the movie. Wrong! Sort of. First off, I don't know what drugs you're on, but the rotten movie you guys are hating on deserves a better rating. I don't know, maybe Zod's lasers melted your brain or something. Second, the fanboys. You are almost as bad as the critics. You give me the wrong impression, bros. You are claiming the same thing the critics have been saying, only in a more positive light. That Man of Steel was an all-action brainless movie. Oh sure, you add on a little side note on your argument against haters that Man of Steel has great story and character. But you never bother to explain why. I had so much trouble just finding comments and reviews that ever touch on that aspect of the movie. And the excuse I was given was that action was the more impressionable aspect, hence why people gave it more attention than to the story and character. That's like saying the story and characters are secondary to the cool action sequences and the special effects in the movie. Now with that cleared up, I'm OminousFlare and you're watching a Man of Steel review. Based on the comic book character, Superman, Man of Steel is a reboot of the Superman movie franchise. The film follows the origin of Kal-El, the last son of Krypton, as he goes on a journey to discover who he is meant to be on this alien world called Earth. And that just about sums up the important parts of the plot. The rest is, as the critics say, all action. It is nothing you haven't seen before: alien invasion, good versus evil, and lots of cool explosions. Do not expect any heavy philosophical debates into whether humanity deserves to be saved. Do not expect any deep internal struggles to decide between the morally good and the ruthless but practical actions that would have crafted Kal-El into an indomitable man who would always strive to do good in the face of evil. Because really, there's just black and white here, with Superman being the white. So what does that mean for those who have yet to see the movie? Does that mean the movie sucks? Hold your horses. Like I said, there is a period of self-discovery in the plotlines during the first half of the movie. It's almost like Nolan wrote the first half and Snyder the second. In fact, it's exactly like that. There was such amazing writing in the first hour of the movie that I'm surprised how rushed the following hour turned out to be. It's like they're saying, okay, now that you've got proper character development and stuff, here's Superman punching stuff for the rest of the film. But ultimately, it's not that clear cut. There were moments even in the second part of the film that furthered the development of Kal-El, in which he's given this ominous version of mankind's destruction. Not gonna spoil which scene that is, but I'm just gonna say that scene was epic. It was everything Angry Joe had boasted it was. Except that there is one problem. It wasn't built up properly, nor was it paid off later in the movie. That's the biggest problem with this movie. There's a lot of good things built up in the movie, but not properly paid off in the end. The biggest flaw of the movie is that it plays it too safe when it really should have shown some scenes of mankind's destruction. Sure, we have a lot of buildings destroyed, we see hints of people dying, but there's no conclusion for that. There's not even a single comment from the Earthlings on how Kal-El might have caused more death and destruction than the lives he has saved. Because you know what? There aren't many deaths in the movie. It's a war zone pitted against another species, but we still get generic action sequences that don't involve significant side characters dying, like they should in a realistic action movie. I could already name two examples off the top of my head: Evangelion and Bokurano. Both Japanese stories more bold than any Hollywood constructs. But it wasn't a brainless action movie. The first half of the film focuses on Kal-El's journey from boy to man, and the flashback sequences were very well executed, right up to the final flashback near the end. There was a lot of heavy stuff that were tight on your heartstrings. Everything was set up so nicely that it makes you expect a coming-of-age story that will set Superman as the ultimate beacon of hope for our future. Alas, it was not so. Philosophical debates need to be paid off with the appropriate actions. When your actions don't really relate with what you preach, I don't see the point at all. Yes, there is one morally great decision at the very end of the movie. But that scene was so obscure. We didn't actually see anyone else getting hurt by Superman's actions other than the villain himself. Even Lawrence Fishburne was all fine and dandy despite his tardiness to evacuate the building. Seriously, an alien ship arrives on Earth and you're just gonna stand there and watch? There were a number of plot holes to the movie, but the flaws in logic were not the affecting factor at all. In fact, if anything, a lot of the things in the movie were properly explained with logic. That's another thing I like about this movie. A lot of the things make sense. Throughout the first half of the film, the characters are intelligent and relatable people. They only got constrained by badly placed plot devices later on. A personal annoyance I have that has nothing to do with the quality of this movie is Louise Lane. Personal preference, I like Margaret Kidder better. Calm down. Maybe it's because I didn't pay enough attention, but Amy Adams just seemed over-trying as a tough female character. Or maybe because her toughness wasn't given enough screen time. Because personally, I'm not convinced that this is a tough woman. I know tough woman. I had crushes on tomboys with spunk my whole life. Off topic. People claim that Margaret just seemed more bossy. For me, her bossiness speaks to me as her having the confidence to keep control of the situation. In normal situations anyway. When it comes to abnormal situations involving supervillains and a man in cape, that's when the damsel in distress pops out annoying the heck out of people. If Amy Adams had Margaret Kidder's spunk, it would have been a better combination in my opinion. Again, just a personal reference, nothing serious to debate about. Michael Shannon plays a good Zod. Finally, a three-dimensional character in an action movie. I can't believe I just said that. A villain with believable goals and relatable ideals, Zod is awesome in Man of Steel. He could have been better, definitely, but for the kind of self-righteous villain he is, it was good enough for me. And so, in conclusion, this movie gets an 8 out of 10 for me. The movie has a good build-up for Kal-El's origin. The flashbacks were appropriately inserted. You really come to see how Superman come to trust these people on Earth. If only it was properly paid off. Zod is a great villain, and of course the fight scenes are, as everyone has said, epically badass that will keep you at the edge of your seats for the rest of the movie. However, the action takes up too much screen time that could have been better used for more in-depth character development. There also needs to be more realistic deaths that would challenge Superman's ideals and beliefs. Nevertheless, for those of you pondering if this is worth your time and money, I'll say it is. There were dozens of inspiring scenes in the movie that will make you love Superman all over again. This is one summer blockbuster you will want to check it out. In comparison of quality, I would say it's as good as the first Iron Man movie. It has a feel-good tone to it and the character of Kal-El was decently fleshed out. In other words, it's standard fare, so don't expect anything outstanding. I'm really hoping for Nolan to properly give Man of Steel 2 the treatment the first movie should have received. Make it the Dark Knight equivalent for the Superman franchise. Not to make it just as dark as the Dark Knight, but to set the story quality at just as good or even better. Make Lex Luthor the best villain ever created since the Joker, if that's even possible. I'll go into more details and explain what I like and dislike about a movie in a spoiler review at the future. To calm you fanboys that are still raving about. You are stupid, you don't know anything about the movie. The movie rocks! There's nothing wrong with the movie. But for now, I've got other projects coming up, so you will have to hold off for a while. For the next couple of weeks, I'll be focusing more on anime reviews for series such as Kigurashi, Madoka, and Mirai Nikki. If you want to see more of that, please support by clicking the subscribe button below. Until next time, remember, storytelling is an important part of our society that inspires us to look up, go straight, and believe that there is a better tomorrow. I'm Flare, and you've been watching the OminousFlare's show.
It's not an S.
Well, here it's an S. How about...
Sir?
Excuse me.